Hi everyone, Nick here, and first off, I really just need to thank those of you who have subscribed to my channel. It really does mean the world to me, and to those of you who have showed support. I also just want to thank you guys for bearing with me over the past few weeks. My work schedule has changed, and I'm moving in the next few days, finally. So I've been super busy, but I do just want to promise you guys that I have a lot of awesome stuff planned for the future for my channel, so I'm very excited to share it with you guys and for you all to stick around. So today's video is going to be all about Pilea, specifically Pilea Peperomioides, or Chinese money plant, pancake plant, friendship plant, whatever you want to call it. It's got so many different names. If you're not familiar with this plant, it's all over Instagram. It is the it plant right now. It's just like, you know, the maidenhair ferns and the fiddle leaf figs, but this one is a little bit more expensive than those and smaller, which is kind of, but whatever. It's been getting cheaper lately, and I'll definitely mention some places where you can buy yours at the end of this video. But this plant has been in my collection for about 6 months now, and I was saying in the past, if you watched my winter plant tour, that I was not having very good luck with this plant. It was putting off a lot of small leaves and yellowing from the bottom and just basically dying. So I was really concerned about this plant, but I mentioned in that video, my tour, that I put it in my west-facing window, and since then I've had a lot of good luck with it. So I just wanted to share with you guys my care tips to have your Pilea start to improve if yours is doing the same thing that mine was. Okay, so sorry half my face is dark as always. I'll get a new filming location when I'm in my new apartment in my next video. But so my care tip number one would be to make sure your Pilea is getting bright and direct light. You can think of bright and direct light as when your houseplants are they're seeing the sky, but they're not exactly getting any direct sunlight, or they can't see the sun. So a north-facing window might be a little too... I'm sure you could grow a Pilea in a north-facing window, but I would recommend an east-facing window still would be fantastic, or in my case, I have it in a west-facing window, but I live in the inner city, so the buildings block any direct sunlight that I would be receiving, so I do get a good amount of indirect sunlight. And I would recommend that. A south-facing window would definitely be too much. You would get your Pilea leaves scorched, and you do not want to scorch this beautiful, expensive plant. So I would stay away from a south-facing window. If a south-facing window is your only option, I would recommend pulling it back a few feet, or maybe putting it off to the side where it's not directly in front of the window. Or you could also get some thin sheet or curtains to filter the light, and that could probably work really well. So yeah, I definitely recommend increasing the amount of light that you have if you're having any situation like mine where it's just, you know, the leaves are all the way down to the soil and then they died all the way up to here. So definitely increase the amount of light rather than lower the amount of light. And from there, we'll go on to care tip number 2. Alright, so my second tip would be to get on a regular watering schedule. This can be said for most plants, but I find that getting on a consistent watering schedule is really helpful for those plants that might be a little bit more finicky for you. So what I would recommend doing is water your Pilea when it needs water, and then keep track of the amount of time it takes or the amount of days before it starts to droop. Water it, and then in the future, water it one day before it would go ahead and start drooping. So for me and my Pilea, it droops on the 8th day typically. So now I just water every 7 days, which is lucky because it's just a week. But yeah, so I water every 7 days, and this ensures me that I'm not going to under or over water it, which is really important to me, and a plant that is a little bit expensive and a little bit finicky. So I water mine every 7 days on the dot, and it is been growing wonderfully for me since I've been doing that. I also recommend doing that, you know, for any other plant that might be a little bit more tough for you, but it's definitely a little bit, you know, it's a little tougher to keep track of stuff. I actually use a Excel spreadsheet to keep track of when I water all my plants, and I'll definitely talk about that in the future. It's a really great way to keep track of your plants, your watering schedule, when you fertilize them, even just what your plants are. So we'll definitely touch on that in a future video. But yes, I definitely recommend getting on a regular watering schedule if you want to avoid losing any leaves from overwatering or underwatering. My last tip goes without saying pretty much, but I definitely recommend keeping any plants that are near and dear to your heart in a pot that has good drainage. So I have mine just sitting in its nursery pot inside this pot because I like it in here, but it doesn't have any drainage holes. You can't even see, but there's no hole. So I have it just chilling in this nursery pot that has good drainage, and it's the one that I got it in. But yeah, I definitely recommend making sure that specifically your Pilea gets good drainage because they really don't like sitting in water. If you do have your Pilea in a pot that has no drainage and you really like it in there and you don't want to repot it, which, I mean, it's winter, so I wouldn't even repot it right now. But when you water it and you think that you might have given it a little too much water, just tip it on its side, and then some of the water will actually start to accumulate on the side, and you can either use a paper towel or a sponge or whatever you got that is absorbent to absorb the water and try to worry a little bit less about overwatering it. I definitely do that with some of my plants that are in plants without drainage, but I will definitely say I will probably never again plant anything without a drainage hole because it's not a great way. It's not a great way to plant plants. If you don't already have a Pilea of your own and you've been really wanting to get one, it's probably the best time to do so because the prices have been dropping a lot. I definitely recommend Hertz Gardens, the place I did an unboxing from in the past, HIRTS.com. They don't have them right now, but they do have them occasionally for $19.99, which is a really good price. And now I'm pretty sure Peep or Pipe.co, it's spelled PIEP.co. They are, I've never ordered from them, but they're a very reputable site to order your Pilea from, and I believe they just dropped their prices like by half. So I think that a standard Pilea size is only going to be like $18. So haven't ordered from them, but I definitely recommend it, and I probably will order from them in the future. And if I do, I'll do an unboxing video. So yeah, definitely check them out if you're looking for a plant. And then you can always check eBay as well. That's where I got mine. The seller doesn't sell anymore, so I'm not gonna link it, but I definitely recommend getting out there and getting a Pilea for yourself and see how big this beautiful leaf is now. Oh, I can't wait for my plant to have all those all over it. But yes, thank you guys for watching. I hope your Pilea grows really well and have a wonderful day.